So I dated this boy on and off for a 10-month period, and each time we dated, it just got more physical, and I pushed back, but that's just where it stopped. Nothing really bad happened. I really thought I loved him. I really did, and I just hated being apart from him, and so I just kept going back every single time. I changed my entire demeanor to fit his life. I stopped drinking sodas because he didn't like sodas, and just did everything for him and not for myself. I grew up knowing not to have sex before I was married. I prided myself upon being a virgin, and in other relationships that were good, if things got too physical, I was okay with saying no because I knew that they would be received well. My no's would be accepted by the boy I was dating. Not so the case with this one. I was not respected at all in this relationship that I was in. My likes, my walk with God, my relationship with my family, nothing was respected. But I still chose to be with him. I asked myself constantly why I chose to stay in this relationship. I've had good boyfriends before. I had a great boyfriend when I first came to college. He was respectful, he was loving and sweet. I mean, we're still friends, but I chose sin. I chose negativity, and I chose this bad relationship. It'd be different if I chose someone to make decisions for me if they were also following Christ and they were leading me to Bible studies and to a deeper relationship with Jesus and a better relationship with my family. But that was not the case with him. This relationship was not a good relationship. At its core, it was manipulative and pleasure-driven and self-serving. The person that I became when I was in this relationship was not me. I was not this spunky, happy, joyful, loving, bubbly person. I was negative, and I was reclusive from my friends, and I shut out my family. I was a stranger to my family. They did not recognize me when I came home. Just was not the person that God had made me to be and my family had raised me to be. Our final argument was like all the rest of them, except at the end of this one, I was just emotionally done and broken and empty, and I turned to the one thing that I knew would help. I just prayed to God, and I said, God, I am done. I have nothing left. If I am meant to help him through this, then give me the strength to do that. But if I'm not meant to be with him, then get me out, because I can't do it anymore. And show me a sign to get me out. And he did. And the sign that God showed me was he let me see through all the manipulation, and he let me see clearly, and that's what got me out. The prayer was a turning point. God gave me strength to get out, and I'm so glad that that happened. And I started the process to forgive myself. I thought that forgiving him was going to be the hard part, but it wasn't. Forgiving myself was the hardest part. I was just all over the place and ashamed of what I had done, and I couldn't forgive myself for not following the standards I had set for myself. I let someone else decide which standards to live up to. Now that I'm out of that relationship and it's over, I no longer have my physical purity. And that was really hard for a long time to accept that. And it worried me that I would never be loved again. I mean, how do I explain to the man that God has picked out for me, the man that I'm going to love forever and spend the rest of my life with, that I can't give him my body, that I've already had given it to someone else? And I didn't know how to forgive myself of that. I could never have even began to forgive myself if it weren't for God, who forgave me first. He is the reason I can say that I am pure and blameless and white and loved, and without his redemptive power, none of this could have happened. I would still feel ashamed and angry at myself and lonely and still living in sin. but I'm not. And it made me realize that no matter what you go through and no matter what happens or what someone does to you, God is always there right alongside you to help you get through it and to forgive you. And by him forgiving you, he shows you how to forgive yourself. During this relationship, I had never felt so far from God, except during that time. I felt as if he just wasn't there, and I was completely separated from him because I chose to live in sin. I knew what I was doing. I knew it was wrong, yet I continued to do it. And he doesn't like being near sin. He can't. And so the first thing I knew I had to do was to repent. And after that, everything just started falling into place. Accepting my role as a sinner was really difficult because I wanted to place the blame on him and not accept what I had done. But once I started to begin to accept what I had done, the forgiveness of myself was so much easier, and my relationship with God just skyrocketed. And I would not be in the place with God I am today if I had not hit my rock bottom. The next thing I did was I talked to my parents, and that was really hard because I thought they were just going to condemn me and judge me, but they chose to love me and encourage me and support me through my forgiveness process and my repentance and the decision to wait until the next time to be married. And they just loved me through my mistake, and I'm so grateful that happened because it just showed me again how to forgive myself. The majority of the summer I learned how to love myself again, and that was a big step for me in my forgiveness process for myself, because I had been angry at myself for choosing to live in sin. And so loving myself again meant accepting that decision I had made and realizing that it doesn't define me. What I did happened, but it was in my past, and I've repented, and it doesn't define me. No mistake that you make defines you if it's not a part of your life anymore. And that was really big. Most of my summer was spent in prayer and in just tears almost every single day, and being able to talk with people who had gone through what I've gone through or hadn't. They all brought a different perspective into my life, and they just really helped me love myself deeper and grow my relationship with God at that point in my life. My prayer life is better now. I have been praying for God to soften my heart, to forgive myself and forgive him, and to just let it be in the past. And I prayed for God to use this for his glory and to help someone else with my story. And I prayed to be bold and to be wise. And I really think that those characteristics are what God has given to me from this situation. And I'm so grateful. One truth I've realized from this is that the power of redemption is real, and God's love is real, and it is unconditional, and nothing can ever touch it. It's always there. You may not feel like he's there, but once you choose to be with him, then it's